And next up, we've got another Nick with SVS. Hey
Nick,
Nick, how you doing?
another name. How you doing?
I know. I think that you're the reason originally that we had to put the name next to it or a last initial. But how are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for
Awesome. Well,
having us on here and putting the show together. I know it's become one of the premier audio events in the country, and we couldn't be more excited.
we're super excited to have you guys there again. You guys always come through in a really big way. So tell everybody a bit about what you do and who you are.
Sure. I'm the VP of marketing for SVS. So some people may have seen our audiophile happy hours. I host that, but I wear a lot of other hats as well, running the marketing department here. We do quite a few live events. One that I think is going to be coming up later in the summer, early fall at one of the audio advice stores, I believe at Charlotte. So
Yep.
keep me on the road quite a bit, but I love managing our social feeds as well and just being a visible part of what SVS is trying to do.
Well, awesome. Yeah. Well, we've been really impressed with some of the new stuff that you guys have been putting out. I've had a personal chance to hear a few of them and have loved it. So tell everybody what you're bringing to the show this year.
Yeah, well, I know this is primarily focused on two channels, so I'll start there. We are going to have a two-channel room with no subwoofers, which may be a bit of a departure from what people would expect from SVS, but we'll be bringing our brand new flagship Ultra Evolution Pinnacle tower speakers in a two-channel array. And I've heard this name brought up a lot before, but shockingly, we're going to have a Hagel on the front end,
There you go.
powering that. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things. It's the first time we've used it, but we're very excited to bring the Hagel out there. And I think one of the things we're trying to do is, as we've done some of the other two-channel shows, is bring a more upscale front end, because I think these speakers certainly benefit from it. They'll play great with more entry-level amplifiers and integrateds, but it really will show what they can truly do. With the acoustically centered time alignment and the diamond coated tweeter and the force balance woofer array. There's a lot of technology stories we'll be talking about at the show, but we wanted to bring some nice front end for that two-channel system.
Yeah, and I've got some pictures here in case everybody hasn't seen the new lineup. So, and I know that you guys are also bringing, you said, on the theater side. So what are you showing off on the theater portion?
Yeah, so before I jump into that, we're also going to be having the Ultra Evolution Titans, which were those white speakers you just
Yep.
showed. They're one step down from the Ultra Evolution Pinnacles. They have slightly smaller driver, slightly smaller cabinet, but the same exact form factor, all the same technology stories. We'll be running those actually in the Ever Solo and the Stark Audio room. So you'll be able to hear the Ultra Evolution with two different kinds of amplification, which, I think you get some of the nuance from having those different components running the speakers, which I'm really excited about, to kind of hear the differences between those two setups. But back to your original question with the home theater, we're going to be running the Titans in there as well in a multi-channel system. It's a 5.2.2. So we'll have those in the front, left, and right. Obviously, our new Evolution center channel, a true three-way center. We'll have a pair of the Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers in the rear, and then our Ultra Elevation height effect speakers, bringing in that 0.2 for some of those immersive Dolby Atmos surround sound effects. And then one of our most popular subwoofers, a pair of the SB3000s sealed cabinet, which I know we have a lot of advocates for sealed cabinet subs here. We'll be running those to produce the low end for our home theater room.
Very cool. Yeah, that's I think that a lot of people like to look at a kind of a divide between two channel and theater, but they're very hand in hand. If you have a good system that does really well in theater, there's a chance that it's going to do pretty well in two channel as well. Which, I mean, any of your speakers can be used in that kind of variation at two channel or in a theater type setup.
I think that's a really great point, Nick. And one of the things we really try to emphasize in the voicing of our speakers is to have sort of the benefits of both. I think people who are big, cinema, home theater fans, they look for the dynamics, they look for the low frequency extension, that energy, the excitement that can really captivate you when you're watching home theater. But then, when you're talking about two channel and hi-fi, it's a lot more about the refinement, clarity, transparency, neutrality, some of the things that really get out of the way and let the music speak for itself. So we really tried to accomplish that with this new series in terms of making a speaker that can really, show the best sides of every kind of content, no matter what you're really into.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I said before, I had a chance to listen to part of your lineup at Axpona. And that was one that, especially it's hard to gauge how things sound in a hotel room but from price to performance, I mean, they punch above their weight class. Wherever they're listening to, $100,000 setup, and then we jump over, listen to something that's a fifth of the price. It sounds fantastic. But awesome. Well, what do you think you're most excited to show off at the show this year?
Well, I mean, it's got to be the new Ultra Evolution speakers. I don't think, they haven't had as much exposure, I think, as a lot of the other models that people will hear at the show. They've only been around for about 2 months or so now. So, across the board, the fact that we're able to show off, I guess it's 7 different models in between the 2 rooms, it's really going to give people a sense for the complete lineup. And the fact that we're going to have different components running them will give you a sense for sort of how they react to having those different AV receivers and integrated amplifiers playing them on the front end. So I just think the diversity of content that we're going to have, as well as the multiple systems. I myself am actually excited because I haven't heard them paired with Hagel or Ever Solo. So to me, this will be a completely different experience from what I've even heard at shows that we've already done, Munich and some of the others. So that's got me pretty excited.
And so let's jump through a few questions that we have on here as well. So
no hard ones. Come on, Nick.
All right, I'm going to give you the hardest question. So describe how a speaker works starting from the. No, I'm kidding. So let's see. Is there an integrated amplifier that you recommend for the Evolution bookshelves?
Let's see. So what we've typically used is we've been using some Emotiva gear at some of our previous shows, which sounds pretty darn good. The bookshelves actually work really well with and I have to plug one of our own units, the Prime Wireless Pro Soundbase. It's a 300 watt 2-channel amp that, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got AirPlay 2, Chromecast, it's got HDMI if you wanted to connect it directly to the TV, 24-bit 192 DAC. So, I mean, that's a great sort of solution if you want to have sort of all the different streaming connectivity and be able to kind of listen to any kind of content you want, or even connect it directly to a TV. So, I mean, I would say that's a great point if you wanted to stay within the SVS family. But, really the way that they're designed is to, sound great with any kind of amplifier. So, I don't like to play favorites, but we certainly have heard, Peachtree and a lot of other models as well. And I've never had a bad experience from experiencing any of those. So, but being an SVS marketing guy, I have to throw a bone to our Prime Wireless Pro Soundbase.
Is there amount of power that I know they operate great on any power, and we're about to prove that? Have you found kind of a sweet spot in terms of wattage that you say, all right, if you got, you're going to customize this entirely, what wattage would you be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, for the bookshelves, anything from even like 50, 60 watts up is going to be fine for you. And certainly they'll benefit from having more power. I think when you get to the pinnacle, the very, the largest flagship tower, you're going to want to throw them, at least 100 watts, but they'll take 80 and still sound great in a smaller room. So it's really about scale and what volumes you like to listen to, how large your space is. So, I think our team can always, and I know the Audio Advice team can make recommendations based on some of those variables that people have with their rooms and their listening preferences to get you the best option possible.
For sure. Well, also we'll get a few other comments. My parents have a pretty fancy SVS setup. Always felt a bit spoiled playing video games with it in school. You got cool
George, you got some good role models there. So consider yourself lucky. My parents had one of those like all-in-one sort of tape deck record player on the top, and that's what got me started into hi-fi. So the fact that they've already introduced you to SVS, kudos to them.
Yeah, my family growing up had a set of Polk towers that had a blown sub on it for years, and no one realized it. They're like, that one doesn't produce as much bass as that one, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah. Well, my college roommate fell victim, I guess you could just say, one of those white vans that brought like the big PA speakers.
Yep.
And so, that was my college listening system. And I feel good about graduating from there. But I think a lot of people had their entry point into the world of high performance audio from those white vans. So again, George, consider yourself lucky.
For sure. So we got another one here. Has Larry found anything to replace his love for that scene in TMNT? So for those of you who don't know, kind of explain the story behind this one.
So Larry is our national training manager. He goes around doing demos of our systems and educating a lot of our partners on what SVS is all about. And one of his favorite demos as far as dynamics and low frequency extension and just big bass moments has been Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the one with Megan Fox in it. And there's this scene where there's this big 18-wheeler sliding down a snowy mountain, and there's this bass drop that I think extends down to about 18 hertz or so. And he really loves to play that beyond reference volume when we're in a hotel room or when we're at these shows to kind of, give people the sense of that tactile sort of visceral response that our subs are able to create. And so he's got sort of a cult following with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But to answer the question, he's now put Godzilla versus Kong, where they're fighting between the two battleships, on almost an equal footing as that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm hoping Dune 2 has a couple scenes in it too that may end up making the ranks as well. But still, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will always have a soft spot, I know, in his heart. And if he will be there this year, and I imagine it will be played at least a couple times in our room, hopefully towards the end of the day, so we can be good neighbors.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was so funny because I never expected Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to be a demo, and we walked in. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this movie, but hey, if it's a good demo, it's a good demo.
He's a glutton for punishment, and I know certain types of base heads just want that complete overkill. Like, let me see what you can really do, tractor pull kind of experience. And I think that delivers it in spades, more so than any others. Even like Top Gun, it has a little bit more refinement to it. This is just bombastic and sort of out of the realm of what most home theater enthusiasts would even enjoy.
Well, before we let you go too, what is your favorite demo track personally for music? If somebody's going to show it off, since this is a 2-channel stream.
So I discovered, and I will not be able to remember her name unless I pull up my Qobuz. There's this track where it's a woman singing in Italian, and it's got this sort of melodic electronic background, and then it brings in another instrumental from an instrument. It's not an ubu. It's an ubu. It's sort of like an Asian sounding like flute instrument. So it's got all these textures and layers to it, and I can't remember exactly what it is. So I'm going to mention another track that we were introduced to, and it's you put me on the spot here, and I'm totally drawing a blank. It's Jeff. He's got the lowest voice of anyone I've ever heard in my life.
Oh yeah,
and he sings 16 tons. 16 tons.
16 tons. Yeah.
Again, I think that shows off just sort of the guttural nature and the natural tonality of a voice and how deep it can go. And I've really enjoyed playing that for people. And then moving from that to the other track with this Italian vocalist who's singing at like the highest frequencies to kind of show the full range nature of the speakers and how they sound in 2-channel. But I promise I'll remember him. If you come visit our room at Audio Advice, we'll go from lows to highs and mix in some electronic and some other music as well, because we love to take requests. I think somebody else who was on before me had mentioned that. I build playlists after all of these shows from the cool music that people suggest to us. And I will say, we were at the another show, I won't mention it, out in Costa Mesa a month or so ago. And there was a guy who came in and his 2 requests were Hotel California and Diana Krall. So that still exists, and we will play it begrudgingly if you ask us to, but we try to stray away from sort of the stereotypical demos and really bring a lot of diversity into the kind of content we're playing.
See, that's funny. So I don't know if you've ever seen Wayne's World, where they're in the music shop and there's a sign that says "No Stairway to Heaven." So I actually had a sign made for my listening room that says "No Hotel California" above my system. So everybody walks in, they're like, "What does that mean?" So that's exactly what it is. I
can respect it as a reference track. You've heard it so many times. It does have nice layers. There's a lot going on, but you can only listen to it so many times. So I will respectfully play it, but we will not do it unless begged.
Awesome. Well, Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you at the show.
I look forward to seeing you too. We'll also be doing one of our happy hours live Thursday night from the show as well, doing some giveaways from our rooms. So I just wanted to throw that teaser out there as well for the social community. We always love having you guys, and maybe you can return the favor and appear on our broadcast and give a little teaser for some of the live concert and other stuff you have going on during the show when we do our live stream.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. All right, Nick. Well, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Nick. Bye.
All right. And so that wraps up everybody that's on there. So now it's time for some giveaways. Before we do that, we also, in case you don't win, we have giveaways again next week where we're going to have an entire live stream on the vinyl revival and talking about all things vinyl, turntable, and analog playback. So in the meantime, we have two winners here. So or well, we're supposed to have one winner, but there was a second one that popped up, so I've got to give away two now. So the first one is going to be for Jesse Torres. Let me see if I can pull that up. And his was, I booked tickets to Disney World, but I feel I would have had a better time Audio Advice Live 2024. So Jesse, reach out to us on our chat side or shoot us an email and we'll get you set up with those. And the second one, just because your parents need something to add on to their SVS setup, they also need a set of Peachtree speakers. So George, reach out to us and we will get you a set of Peachtree M24s. So awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining and have a great rest of your day.